Hello friends, it is 2026. I can't even believe I'm saying that right now, but we made it, we're here. I'm so excited for a new year. I've got some new goals. I'm ready to lock in and we're gonna see some changes this year. We're gonna make some progress. Unfortunately, I welcome the new year with a cold and I have been in bed for a few days just with the shivers and just not feeling 100%. But today I am on the mend. I'm feeling a lot better and I'm ready to do a very practical but super helpful meal prep. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna show you some super easy things that I like to prep, that I like to have in my fridge and won't take much effort or time. It's not gonna be like some of my other meal prep videos where, it's gonna take a whole afternoon and we're gonna have like all of these perfectly packaged meals or snacks. Today, I'm keeping it real. I'm just doing simple things, keeping simple foods in the fridge. And that's honestly all you have to do to be fit, to be healthy, to hit your protein goals. You don't have to overcomplicate it. I think that's gonna be one of my goals this year, is to just keep things simple and practical. That way, it's doable and it's maintainable. If you're new around here, my name's Melanie. I am a stay-at-home mom of 4. I like keeping things real in my household. Often you'll see my kids in the videos. You'll see a messy house. This is real life and that's what I'm all about. And if you want to come along for the ride, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. Okay, let's get going on my super practical, easy, realistic, high protein meal prep. Mom! Turn it on. Well, it's a new year, and if you're anything like me, you're really excited. You want to make progress, you've set some new goals. Maybe you want to be consistent with your workout routines, you want to hit your protein goals, you want to build muscle, whatever it may be. These are all wonderful things, and I do think setting goals are important. I love me a good workout plan to follow. I love a good meal prep day when I have the time and I'm not feeling overwhelmed. But I'm actually realizing that it's sometimes the little things that will actually give you the biggest results, which is why I'm choosing to slow down a little bit and to simplify. So even though today is a meal prep day, it really didn't feel like a meal prep day at all, because I kind of just went about my day as I normally would and just found 15 minutes here or there where I could put some things together that I knew would help me throughout this week. So if you do have protein goals, you want to eat healthy, but you don't want to feel super overwhelmed at the same time, I created a free document that I will put in the description box below for today's meal prep plan. It will include the grocery list and all of the recipes from today. To start this meal prep day, after dropping my older kids at the bus stop, I decided I would just boil up some eggs. In my opinion, there's no better protein source than a good old-fashioned egg. By simply having hard-boiled eggs already peeled, cooked in the fridge, just makes it really easy to grab, whether you're on the go or you're working and you just need a really quick protein. Easy, 6 grams of protein. Your future self will thank you, I promise.
And a fork.
This next recipe is a really simple high protein ranch dip. I love this so much because it's not only a dip, which is perfect to go along with veggies or crackers, but you can also thin it out a little bit more and use it as a salad dressing. You could also spread it on some wraps. You can use it in so many different ways, which is why I call it a staple. Everybody needs a good sauce or dressing, or something to go alongside your veggies or in your sandwiches and wraps. So this one is definitely a keeper. It's really simple to throw together. It uses a lot of pantry ingredients, things that I have on hand that I don't have to go out to the grocery store to grab. I always have plain 0% Greek yogurt in my fridge, and I like to use it in a variety of different ways. I do have another recipe in today's meal prep that includes Greek yogurt, but it's on the sweeter side, and I think that may be my favorite recipe from today's meal prep, so stay tuned, you don't want to miss that one. Now that I've finished mixing up the ranch dip, I'm just going to chop up some simple vegetables. As much as I love protein, I'm a big believer in making sure you eat a variety of different foods, lots of different colors. And I actually think you're way more likely to eat vegetables or to eat foods that look visually appealing and pretty. I just love opening up my fridge and seeing a cute little jar like this filled with colorful foods. It just looks so yummy, and I also think it's really good for your kids if they can open up the fridge and see something like this that they can grab as an easy snack as well. And gosh, aren't these jars just the cutest? And then I've just stored the rest of my dressing in a separate container. That way, if I want to thin it out, I can turn it into a salad dressing, or I can spread it on a wrap or a pita, or use it in different ways throughout the week. I love days like today where I can go about my day as I normally would and just kind of meal prep at different times when it works for me. Doesn't have to be all at once. This sort of meal prep doesn't involve a lot of time or planning. I'm just prepping simple things that I can keep in the fridge. And some of the things aren't complete meals. They're things that I can throw into a meal and use. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm going to make a protein, just a simple, lean ground meat. So you can choose whatever you have on hand, whether that's turkey or chicken or lean ground beef. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this fact about my life, but I do honestly just want to be the most authentic that I can possibly be with you guys. So with that being said, my meat today is ground venison, which is deer my husband hunts. So we have lots of ground meat in our freezer. So I'm going to be cooking up some ground venison, but you could easily just swap it out for a ground beef. It basically tastes the same, slightly different, but anyways, we won't get into this too much. So all I'm doing right now is cooking up on a pan lean ground meat, adding very minimal spices so that I can use it in different dishes throughout the week, and it's very versatile. You can throw it on top of a salad. You can add it into your breakfast wrap with some eggs. You can make a chili. The options are endless, and it's just really practical and helpful to have the meat that's already cooked in your fridge, not overly seasoned, just there and ready for you. So that's what I'm doing. You can really choose whatever meat you enjoy the most. Ground turkey or ground chicken is typically a little bit leaner, a little lower in calories. However, a ground beef adds a little bit more flavor and also more iron. So you can kind of choose whatever your preference is. I do think a red meat does go a little bit better in a variety of dishes, like if you want to use it in chili or maybe a spaghetti sauce throughout the week. However, they're all great choices, so just go with whatever you enjoy the most. So this stuff right here, it's tamari. It's a natural soy sauce. This is one of my favorite flavor hacks of all time. I use this stuff in like everything, especially when I'm cooking a ground meat. I like to add a splash of tamari. It adds a lot of flavor, adds a little bit of moisture, and then I'll also add a little bit of broth just to keep it moist while it sits in the fridge over time. So I'm gonna add this to the pan now while it's cooking. The meat's getting nice and brown, and then I will add just a touch of tomato paste and a little bit of broth, and then that's it. If you have watched some of my other videos, you probably already know this about me, but I am a yogurt bowl addict. I eat yogurt every single night before bed. It's definitely an obsession of mine. And one way to turn a plain yogurt bowl into a fancy, delicious dessert is to make this strawberry compote. Guys, this is so easy to make, but it really levels up your yogurt and it tastes delicious. All you have to do is slice up 1 container of strawberries or use as many as you desire. You will go through this quickly, trust me, so I recommend using more than you think you will need. And you just add a little bit of water, a splash of lemon juice, and a drizzle of honey, and then you let it simmer down for 7 to 8 minutes, and then it will start to thicken and turn into a jam-like consistency, and you can use the back of the spoon to kind of press it into the pan. And then you can store it on top of your yogurt in the fridge, but it does get a little bit watery after a couple of days. So you'll want to eat it within a day or two if you store it this way. Otherwise, put it in a separate container, keep it in the fridge, and put it somewhere where nobody else will find it, because once your kids discover this in your fridge, it will be gone in an instant. Trust me, I've learned from experience. This is probably my favorite recipe today. It's so good.
Ooh.
Pretty good?
Very good.
Yeah?
I'm re-racing and stuff on the very high roof.
Uh-oh. Well, you might need Daddy to get the ladder.
Great idea. I got the best idea. Yes, let me take the ladder.
Well, this kind of feels a little like cheating, but I'm okay with it, honestly. Sometimes I like to just grab a store-bought rotisserie chicken because it's already cooked. All I have to do is pull off all of the meat. I like to chop up the dark meat and I like to add it to soups. So next time I decide to make a chicken noodle soup or something, it's already cooked. It's in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. So that just makes it really easy for me. And then I will chop up the white meat, keep it in the fridge, and we'll snack on it or have it with a salad. Now I'm gonna be making a homemade bone broth. You may think that making bone broth at home sounds complicated and time consuming. While it does require some time sitting on the stove, simmering away, it almost requires zero effort to throw it all in the pot and then you just have to wait. I like to cook my bone broth anywhere between 3 and 12 hours, just depending on when I'm making it. There is some confusion around bone broth. Bone broth does contain protein, however, it is not a complete protein, but that doesn't mean it's not still useful for your body. Everybody knows the healing powers of grandma's homemade soup. That's because grandma's always made their own chicken stock and there is so much nutrition in the bones of your chicken, or sometimes I will get bones from the butcher, some beef bones. Whatever bones you have, throw them in a pot, add a bunch of vegetables. I don't even peel my vegetables, guys. I just give them a really good wash and then fill the pot with water. I like to add a little bit of lemon, a splash of apple cider vinegar, some peppercorns, and then just let it simmer away. The great thing about bone broth is you don't really have to follow a recipe. You can throw in any vegetable scraps that you have, whatever is in your fridge, put it in the pot, let it simmer away for a few hours, and you're going to have a delicious chicken bone broth. Does it look yummy?
Not a lot.
That doesn't look yummy. Oops, careful, don't splash it.
I did splash it on you.
Oops. That's okay.
If you drop the spoon, you're a big Come on.
So it is the morning after, and here's the broth.
Mommy.
Let's see. So I just have to strain it out, and I'm going to use a large measuring glass here just so it's easy to pour, and then I'm going to store some of it in this container, which I can freeze. I have tried freezing in a mason jar, a glass mason jar, and it cracked, so I don't recommend that. If you have plastic, although it's not ideal to use plastic, it does work better for freezing. Or you could even freeze in ice cube trays. I've seen that as well, but I'm gonna put some in here, and then I'll just store the rest in the fridge and use it all up, so I won't need to freeze all of it. So here's the thing about bone broth. It isn't a complete protein on its own, but if you're eating complete proteins throughout the day, your body can still use the amino acids from the bone broth to support muscle recovery and overall protein needs. So I definitely see bone broth as a protein source. I just wouldn't use it as your only protein source throughout the day. You definitely want to pair it with complete proteins or use it as a protein boost when cooking things like rice. I'm gonna show you what I have here. Here's the leftover bone and veggies, and those have done their job, so I'm just gonna toss those. Here is a good portion of bone broth that I'm going to put in my freezer. I'll just let that... Hi, Lauren.
Put this on my heel.
You want that in your hair? Okay, 1 second, okay? This is the bone broth that I'm going to store in the fridge that I will use for the next few days. I'm going to cook with it. I'm just going to drink it. And I'm also going to use it for one more recipe today, so we will get to that shortly. As much as I don't love plastic, I do find freezing in a Ziploc bag is super convenient. So I have 2 cups of bone broth measured in here, and that is perfect for cooking 1 cup of rice. So I'll just label this as 2 cups, and then I know next time I want to make rice, I will cook my rice with the bone broth, and it will just thaw super quick and easy. So that's gonna go in the freezer as well. Got all my kiddos home again. You guys doing the dishes?
Yeah.
Why aren't you at school today?
Because it's a snow day.
Another snow day, oh my goodness. This is all the quinoa that I have left. We're gonna make rice. I was a little disappointed to see that I ran out of quinoa because quinoa is a staple in my diet. It's one of the few plant-based complete protein sources. Although compared to meat, it really doesn't have that much protein, but it is a great way to add extra protein in your diet if you do want to add more plant-based foods. And I love some healthy carbs, so I was okay to cook up some brown rice today, especially since I had this bone broth. I used that as the cooking liquid, and that actually gave this quite a lot more protein. 1 cup of cooked brown rice in the bone broth will give you 11 to 12 grams of protein. Well, even though today's meal prep wasn't super fancy or unique, it really was helpful and practical, especially as a busy mom who has health and fitness and protein goals. Don't forget to grab that free document in the description box below, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.